So a few weeks ago, I was sitting at my computer enjoying my time with 3D All-Stars playing through one of my childhood games, Super Mario Sunshine, when suddenly I had a thought. How much of this game is completable without the use of FLUDD's specialty nozzles? I'm sure you've already seen challenges like this online, such as the minimum captures required to beat Super Mario Odyssey. In Sunshine's case, a lot of people have talked about the hoverless challenge. Obviously, I wanted my video to be different, so I've taken the liberty to make things more difficult. So while late to the party, in celebration of Mario's 35th anniversary, we'll look at just how many shine sprites you can get without using not only the hover nozzle, but also the rocket and turbo. And a challenge such as this is a massive feat, so joining me on this endeavor is MaskNintendoBandit. Without further delay, let's get right into it. The reason this wasn't a can you beat the game without FLUDD video is because, well, it's kind of impossible. Like, 90% of the game needs him, and you wouldn't be able to get past the airstrip, which acts as a sort of tutorial level. Though it would be interesting to see just how many of the shines are possible without FLUDD. In general, while many of the levels require you to use the spray nozzle, the others aren't really needed. Something like the hover nozzle mainly exists to act as a crutch when you are platforming, in case you happen to miss a jump. The other two nozzles are used less frequently, but there will be multiple scenarios where it's the intended method of choice. And the challenge we must overcome is, how do I do this without these tools? At times, it's a simple solution, while others aren't so easy. Going into this challenge, I'm not too concerned. I actually have experience speedrunning this game, so it's going to help greatly in the long run. While I don't have access to the hover nozzle, there are several workarounds to this problem which will be further elaborated in the video. There's a total of 120 shines in the game. Delfino Plaza has 17 with 7 different worlds. Each world has 11 shine sprites, 8 missions, the 2 secret shines, and 1 for 100 coins similar to 64. Strewn across these worlds are 240 blue coins, and every 10 nets us another shine sprite. This brings us to a total of 118, the last 2 coming from said tutorial level and the final boss. And this means that we already know of one impossible shine sprite, since the rocket nozzle is needed to ascend the cloud portion of Corona Mountain. Technically, it is possible with the use of a TAS. For us, this means that the game is not beatable. But remember that this video is looking at how many shines we can possibly get. When doing this challenge, I didn't take these on in any sort of structured order, so we're going to be all over the place when it comes to what shines are tackled.
Before this challenge is even tackled, it's best to explain some of the useful moves which will greatly help in this playthrough. Unlike 64, there's no long jump in Mario Sunshine. This puts us at a severe disadvantage. Luckily though, this game still has the dive mechanic, which combined with a spin or triple jump, gives Mario some crazy distance. In many cases, we'll be using this combination to clear gaps which would otherwise be done with the hover nozzle. If Mario dives in water, it can be used to speed across the ground, which will come in handy as a replacement for the turbo nozzle. At times, the player will have to make huge jumps on a really small platform. It's impossible to do a triple jump here, but it's slightly higher than a spin jump, therefore it will be needed at times. Luckily, if Mario lands from a spin jump and immediately jumps again, it will automatically lead into a triple jump, and the player can go into a spin jump in midair. This means if we jump normally, turn it into a spin jump midair, then jump right after hitting the ground, we can actually activate a triple jump with only 2 jumps. Yoshi is going to be a lifesaver in this run, and you'll find out why later on. We start the game with a rough landing on the airstrip. This is where you meet FLUDD. Take out your first basic boss and grab shine number 1. Mario is then arrested for apparently vandalizing the island even though he just arrived there on the plane. Worst vacation ever. Then we get to the main hub world, Delfino Plaza, in which we take out yet another piranha plant and unlock the first world. The first level of Bianco Hills is pretty straightforward, but mission 2 is where we run into the first challenge. Mario needs to climb to the top of the windmill, and while the first few jumps are pretty easy, some thorns are blocking his way. Originally you would hover around them, so this requires us to pull off a neat little trick. We need both a high enough jump and the ability to turn Mario in the air. By spin jumping and going into first person, we can turn the camera, which will also steer Mario in the right direction. It took several attempts, however before you know it we're going up the windmill and to the boss. Another shine sprite is ours for the taking. Another world becomes available. All we have to do is kill yet another polluted piranha, allowing us to access us not only Rico Harbor, but also the hut we'll frequently visit to exchange blue coins for shine sprites. For now, let's go to this new world. We'll be here for a while. This world in particular can be quite challenging without the hover nozzle because half of the level consists of beams and platforms high above the ground. The only tough part of the first mission is this one jump. The rest of it is pretty simple. So is Blooper Surfing Safari, as that has nothing to do with FLUDD. While we're at it, we'll pick up the first secret shrine by completing this course in less than 40 seconds. The first real challenge comes from the caged shine sprite, since we need to climb the platforms above. You can skip this whole segment, but it does require the hover nozzle. And after a somewhat frustrating time, we grab yet another shine. The worst part about this mission has to be the wind enemies who can knock you right off the platform into the water.
On the topic of frustrating, things get even more difficult with the secret of Rico Tower. Don't get me wrong, the level itself isn't so bad. It's getting to that level. You have to wall jump several times and just pray that you have the right timing and position. I find turning the wall kicks into spin jumps makes it a whole lot easier. You have much more control of where Mario goes and get more height from it. We finally get in the level, and while there were a few deaths, everything turned out okay. Great! Now we gotta do it all again. The second attempt to get in the tower was much more rage-inducing. For those who don't know, all these secret levels have a red coin mission. Normally, they are super easy with FLUDD, but they can be some of the most annoying missions for our challenge. Luckily, we managed to complete it. It's not going to be as easy for others. Also, I hope you're ready because there are a lot of red coin missions in this game. I mean, a lot. Gooper Blooper returns. Just dive into this trampoline and lead into a spin jump. Boom. Easy peasy. We having some good calamari tonight. Let's head back to Bianco to take on yet another secret level. If you haven't already noticed, the first completion of these stages takes away FLUDD, so nothing about this will feel different until the red coin segment. This is one of the easier ones, so we might as well get all the red coins done. What could go wrong? Let's come back to this one later. Man, those red coin levels sure are stressful. Oh look, another red coin level. Luckily, this one is pretty easy. The only challenging one is the coin in midair, but we can use FLUDD to move the platform. Shine, get. PD Piranha's also back for some more action. Let's flex our way up there with some sick moves. And dead. Hopefully he won't come back. Secret of the Dirty Lake is another secret level. I know, real big surprise. Definitely one of the more challenging missions with all the flippy platforms, but as you should all remember, I'm a pro gamer. Well, until I get to the red coins. Skip! Might as well finish up the rest of the missions. Shadow Mario is extremely simple, just spray him with water. You gotta do the cool camera glitch every time you grab the shine or it doesn't count. As well as another red coin mission. I only now realize just how many of these there are in Bianco Hills. I think it's the only world with 4 red coin levels. I did some fancy wall jumps to get on the tightrope and the rest is smooth sailing. Just gotta watch out for more of those pesky wind enemies. The only other highlight is this super sick jump. Last challenge is getting the shine itself. Without the hover nozzle, you need to do some wall jumps and that's the end of Bianco for now. Why not unlock another world while we're at it? The first level of Gelato Beach has arguably the easiest secret level and red coin mission. I'm still traumatized about the red coins though, so we'll take care of that later. Just gotta quickly kill these red ducks and a giant caterpillar before we leave.
Now is probably a good time to get some of the shines at Delfino Plaza. One of the quickest ones to get is by spraying this part of the sand. It's a bit tricky to reach the shine without the hover nozzle, but it is possible. There's a box game which gives us 2 more, and going back to a pipe on the lone island transports us to a quick slide puzzle. We'll head back to Rico Harbor and take on yet another red coins mission. This is one of the more tricky ones, but since it's riding a blooper, there's no extra challenge here. The Shadow Mario mission does require you to do some platforming, but he's taken down pretty quickly, making the whole thing getting a lot easier. Unfortunately, Peach gets kidnapped a second time, taking us to Peanut Park. After defeating a giant robot, there's another secret level to beat. By diving into the cannon at the right angle, you can skip killing the mole and complete the mission. This includes the red coins, but at the cost of a lot of deaths. The next mission, Red Coins of the Pirate Ship, is less of a challenge and more so annoying, but it is possible. Nothing worth saying about the wilted sunflowers, except completing this mission will unlock Yoshi. The thing about Yoshi is that his jumps are a lot higher than Mario's. We'll use this to our advantage to reach one of the bell towers. After washing the paint away, we're rewarded with another shine. Might as well unlock the turbo nozzle, though we won't be using it, of course. Mission 5 of Peanut Park is interesting since you can skip the whole obstacle course by just hovering through the Ferris wheel, which somehow works. But since we don't have that luxury, we need to play it as intended. Oh yeah, and we can add another creature to the kill list. This is the moment where the rocket nozzle becomes available, if you're playing normally, that is. On the topic of the rocket nozzle, one challenge will be getting to Pianta Village without FLUDD. It's possible to jump up from the sewers while riding Yoshi, but this is pretty inconsistent and only worked once. Anyways, let's get to the level. Just have to give some chain chomplets a bath, race the dude from Ocarina of Time, and we'll come back to this level later. Since Yoshi is unlocked, the path to Serena Beach is open. Unfortunately, the hotel has sunk into the ground, so we need to kill this giant manta ray that totally won't give you nightmares, grab the shine, and start this world's first secret level. And the level itself, despite the difficulty, was done in one try. While we're at it, let's tackle the red coins mission. The hardest ones to get are this coin in the air, since you need to be careful with the platforms below, and the one below the bricks. Timing your jump properly to grab the ledge below is tricky, but fortunately it's a lot easier to get back up since Mario can destroy the bricks from below.
Mission 3, titled Mysterious Hotel Delfino, consists of a huge labyrinth-like puzzle. And despite it being possible to complete without the hover nozzle, I'm kind of lazy. It's time to do the good old banana split trick. Aw yeah. While we're at it, let's head back to finish up Rico Harbor. Depending on what color Yoshi you have, the enemies you spray will temporarily turn into different platforms. Remember this for later since it will come in handy. Just a few jumps, and you got yourself a shine. Let's also use Yoshi to enter the secret level of Pinna 6. It's a lot less scary than it looks. Then we have a somewhat frustrating Shadow Mario mission. There's a chuckster we can pay to throw us into this building, which has another shine. This is where we'll backtrack to Bianco and get all the blue coins. While this challenge is about how many shines we can trade these in for shine sprites. Therefore, we must collect as many as possible. Bianco Hills is a great place to start since all 30 of them can be found on the 8th mission. There's a lot of blue coins in this game, so we'll go over the ones that are somewhat challenging. We need to carefully jump to this balcony and spray this part for one of the coins. There's a platform and cliffside that are way too high to reach with Mario, but since Yoshi is available in this level, we can grab him, which will give us enough height and distance to get both. And this one took many attempts to reach, which was a real pain. I also took time to get the 100 coin shine, but this is where the real challenge begins. Using Yoshi, we can jump to the second bell tower and clean it off, giving us another shine. Problem is, this one is super high up in the air. At first it might look hopeless, but if we jump to the top of the tower with Yoshi, then do a spin jump, jumping off at just the right time, there's just enough height for us to grab the shine sprite. I tried the exact same thing with the shine gate. In fact, I used the space to lead into a triple jump, but even with this, it's impossible. I decided to switch gears and go to the lighthouse next. There's a panel you need to ground pound, but Mario needs to be at a certain height. Using Yoshi, it's possible to get the necessary height without the rocket nozzle. Unfortunately, we run into the same issue as the shine gate. I even managed to maximize the height by triple jumping with Yoshi off the peak of the lighthouse. This really sucks, since that means 2 more shine sprites would be off the checklist. But then I remembered a certain glitch in the game, infinite flutter. To do this, you must wait until you're at the peak of a flutter, then quickly dismount Yoshi and press the ground pound button. My next thought was to start at the shine gate, then infinite flutter all the way to the lighthouse to get the shine. I actually managed to get halfway there, but I realized something else. When done properly, you can gain some height each time. I tested this out at the shine gate, and wouldn't you know, we've got another shine. The same goes for the lighthouse. That's 2 more off the checklist.
There are 2 shine sprites within Delfino Plaza which require the player to use the turbo nozzle and break down the doors. Fortunately, we can use a coconut to clip Mario right into one of the rooms and grab yet another shine. It is possible to do this for the other area, however, it's a warp to another secret level which is impossible without FLUDD. You can only make it as far as the first jump. The next platform is simply too far to reach. It's worth noting that while this stage is built for the turbo nozzle, you can beat it only by hovering. But for this challenge, it means that another shine sprite is impossible. Next up is Noki Bay, which is one of the hardest worlds to complete for this challenge. So for now, we'll just do the first 2 levels. For Mario veterans, the platforming without FLUDD isn't too challenging, although this time we do have to kill the mole to finish the level. In Mission 2, we need to use these ruins to climb up and fight Gooper Blooper one final time. So let's tenderize him real good. Maybe we tenderized him a bit too much. You can also use the spring to clip out of bounds and skip the whole boss, which is what speedrunners do. Just a neat little trick to show off. It's time to finish off Rico Harbor by collecting all the blue coins and the 100 coin shine. There's an M on the cliffside we'll use Yoshi to get to. Most of these ones are straightforward, just a little tedious to get to. The hardest one to collect is above the tower. While we could infinite flutter our way up, it's difficult to pull off consistently. But there is another way to grab it, and it requires some thinking outside the box. As mentioned before, Yoshi can turn enemies into different colored platforms, and depending on their color, they'll behave differently. The pink platforms rise up, which is extremely helpful, and at the very top of the beams, close to the tower, are 2 bloopers. So if we bring Yoshi up here, spray the enemies, we can ride up on the platform and spin off of it just before it disappears. Then we can jump off Yoshi directly below the coin and grab it. The first attempt resulted in failure, but a second try proved our efforts to be successful. And that's all 30 blue coins of Rico Harbor.
I've been avoiding Gelato 4 this whole time, but let's get it over with. The Sandbird is one of the game's most infamous levels. You're supposed to collect 8 red coins while staying on a giant bird as it flies through the sky. The wonky physics and Sandbird rotating 90 degrees makes this a very frustrating mission. But since some blue coins are in this level, and I don't want to come back again, I got both those and the red coins at once. If you thought that was already hard enough, we have to do it without FLUDD, which I happened to beat in one try. Like I said, pro gamer. After another race, it's time to collect some more red coins. This is the only level with Yoshi, so I'll take time to use the tricks we've learnt to grab this blue coin, which would have been impossible without the rocket nozzle. One Shadow Mario mission later, it's time to get the rest of the blue coins and the 100 coin shine. Gelato Beach is one of the most challenging levels to collect coins on, but the Watermelon Festival makes it much easier. Breaking each watermelon will give you a coin, so once we've gotten all the ones from the level, we can do that to collect the rest. A part of why we need to do this is because there's a line of coins over here that, as far as I know, are impossible without the turbo nozzle. We'll also take time to grab this secret shine in the sand. Oh yeah, this also happened, and I thought it was hilarious. The Watermelon Festival requires some patience, but it's not too different. I think I'm ready to take on Pianta Village once more. Last time we jumped from the sewers with Yoshi to get there, but this time we'll spin jump onto the Shine Gate, then triple jump off and do a backwards flutter to get to the top. So the Goopy Inferno takes FLUDD away from you, similar to the secret levels. While you're expected to take a route underneath the village, there are several other ways to do this mission. I opted to walk along this fence and climb up this giant tree, diving down to the platform. So great, now we have FLUDD. Too bad that was the easy part. Now we need to get on top of this golden mushroom without hovering. Turns out you can do a triple jump and quickly use the camera trick to get on top. But I can't stress enough just how difficult this is. You need to get just enough height to land on top of it, and this was one of the hardest tricks to perform in the game. And the worst part is, I had to go back to Mission 1 and do it again to get a blue coin. It was not fun. After giving a bath to a much bigger chain chomp, carefully making our way with Yoshi to another challenging secret level, and rescuing the villagers, we take down Shadow Mario once again. At this point, we'll start to collect the blue coins, and this leads to the most difficult trick in the game. There's a giant tree in the center of the village, and 2 of the shine sprites within this world require us to climb to the top. One of the 8 red coins is on the platform, and we also need to spray the sun to get one of the secret shines. In a hoverless challenge, this is relatively easy since you can just rocket your way up. Obviously, that's not going to be an option. It's possible to scale up part of the tree, however the platforms eventually are too high to reach. At the very least, it lets us get the blue coin from this bird that rests on the spot. But there's absolutely no way to scale this tree, making 2 more shine sprites impossible. Or so I thought. One of the biggest changes to this level is the addition of fluffs, which Mario can grab onto while they are blown to the clouds with the shine sprite. And one method of getting to this giant tree is by scaling another, triple jumping, and hovering across. So theoretically, if one of those pieces of fluff was positioned between both trees, we could triple jump and dive onto it, climb to the very top of it, and possibly reach the top of the giant tree. Problem is, there doesn't appear to be a pattern for where these fluffs spawn. Their X, Y, and Z positioning looks like it's randomized. And even if we do get good placement, the wind needs to blow it just enough so it stops at the right spot. This was a pain to do. It was rare for the fluff to be positioned optimally, and even then, timing jumps on sloped surfaces isn't the easiest trick to pull off. Most of the time, Mario just fell off and I had to wait for another fluff to be at the right spot. But then, it happened. With that, I was able to triple jump dive onto the platform and get one of the shine sprites. This was, without a doubt, the hardest trick to pull off in the entire challenge. I still can't believe we managed to get up here without the use of FLUDD. As a matter of fact, when I tried to do this trick again for the red coin mission, I ended up having to use the hover nozzle to go over. I couldn't recreate this moment even after a couple more hours, and I didn't want to waste any more time here. This whole video is about how many shines you can get with only the squirt nozzle, and since I just proved it was possible, it's not really a big deal. There is one other red coin in this mission which at first seems impossible. It's the one directly underneath the village. The ceiling is very low, so it limits Mario's jumping abilities. The good news is that we can use FLUDD to move this swing, and at the highest peak, it's possible to jump dive onto the top of the platform. While we're at it, we'll pick up this blue coin since it's close by. You can use the mushrooms below to get back to the surface safely. And, after praying for a good piece of fluff to grab onto, we can pick up yet another shine sprite, as well as the 100 coin mission. It's pretty easy on the level with Yoshi.
Peanut Park is pretty straightforward. Normally the roller coaster balloons are a pain, but it beats sitting on a tree for hours hoping for good RNG. The red coin mission for the Yoshi go-round looks intimidating, but most of them are at the last bit of the level, and before long, we have that shine. No blue coins in particular stand out as challenging, although while grabbing one of them, Yoshi ended up clipping through the cage, which was pretty cool. You can use mission 2 to get the 100 coin shine quickly by just spraying the bullets fired from the cannon. Our shine count is now an impressive 83. Episode 4 of Serena Beach has yet another speedrunning trick. You're supposed to win these slots, then complete a giant flip puzzle, but that takes a lot of time and is pretty boring, quite frankly. Speedrunners can skip this section by hovering to the top and grabbing this ledge, jumping into the warp pipe. In this challenge, we need to triple jump off of this bit and wall jump. If done correctly, Mario will grab the ledge. This is extremely difficult to pull off, and after dozens of attempts, we finally enter the secret level and beat it. The player returns to the casino to face off against King Boo, and then saves some piantas on the beach. We'll take this time to collect the blue coins. The only one proving to be a challenge is this one on top of the hotel. Unfortunately, items like barrels have hitboxes similar to fruit, so we can't place one down and triple jump off of it. Luckily for us, the sign has a small hitbox, and Mario can wall jump off of it to reach the top of the hotel. Nothing worth noting about the Shadow Mario level, though all the rooms are open, so it's best to collect the blue coins in this mission. Mission number 8 is a simple red coin challenge. Back at the plaza, we'll spray the golden bird to get another shine, but getting to it will be a challenge. Grabbing Yoshi will make this much easier. On the same island as the bird is a warp pipe. You're supposed to take Yoshi on several boats to get there, which is just a real pain. Instead, we'll clip into this part of the fruit stand and triple jump to the ground. You have to keep jumping because if you don't, Mario will die, and we don't want that. Now we can enter the Poison River level, which isn't actually as bad as you would think. The only coin which proves to be a challenge is the 7th, since you need to jump to it and land back on the lily pad. It's time to return to Noki Bay and complete red coins in a bottle. Now's a good time to explain how underwater segments work in the game. In levels such as these, the only way to travel upwards is with the hover nozzle. This obviously makes certain missions extremely difficult, but with use of the first-person camera, we can quickly turn Mario in the correct direction and collect all the red coins. As long as we get to them quick enough, it's possible to beat it and grab the shine.
Unfortunately, things get much harder with Eel Mouth's dentist. What players usually do is hover over the eel while cleaning his teeth. The good news is that the mouth's hitbox is a bit odd. We can clean his teeth even when his mouth is closed. We also need to be wary of the pit, because if we drop in, there will be no way out. Honestly, the biggest issue isn't the lack of a hover nozzle, but the time limit. There are a few coins you can grab, but our time is greatly limited and Mario will die quickly. For the most part, I just sprayed wherever and hoped that I was cleaning his teeth. Eventually, I did get it. Though, make sure you move away from the center, because the last thing you want to do is get stuck in the hole with the shine just taunting you. One race later, we have the shell's secret. But trust me, you don't want to fall off. One of the harder secret levels, but not too bad. And after beating Shadow Mario one last time, we can technically go to the final level, but as said before, it's impossible to beat. On the topic of impossible, if you thought the eel was annoying, then buckle up because it's time to take on the red coin fish. This is probably the hardest mission in the game, aside from the Fluff Festival. We're back at the ocean floor, where a fish made up of coins will swim around. Without the use of the hover nozzle, this is surely impossible, right? Well, there are two things to note. We can temporarily halt our descent by landing on one of these platforms. The other is that this fish will split apart temporarily, only to come back together. If all goes well, perhaps Mario can float downward and collect all the coins at once. I mean, he kind of has to. If this fails, we need to restart the whole level. Turns out, someone else managed to do this and uploaded it to YouTube. So after many failed attempts, and I mean many, I was able to pull this off. Yes, you just saw that. I grabbed all 8 coins together, and all it took was perfect timing and positioning. That was quite the challenge. This brings us to the first blue coins that are impossible to get. The underwater section has 4 of them, but they are on giant pillars, and unfortunately Mario spawns below them. The blue coins in general are kind of a pain to get. A lot of them require proper timing, and if you messed up, that means rescaling the whole cliff. One of the hardest ones to collect was this one within the cliffside. There's no way to jump down to it, and even when at the top of the shell, Mario's spin jump isn't good enough to reach it. That's when I had the idea to bring one of the level's springs to this location. Noki 6 is the only level that has these tight ropes which we need to traverse to the shell, and the only spring in Noki 6 is the one on this platform. We can spin jump, switch the positioning with the first-person camera, and wall kick off the cliff to reach it. Things get harder since we now need to take the spring on the tight ropes and make our way up. If we get hit a single time, the spring will disappear. That means you have to backtrack all the way back to where the spring is, pull off the trick, and then come back. Once we get to the very top, Mario needs to dive into the spring and leave with a spin jump. The momentum from this gives us just enough space to grab the blue coin. Yes, it was painful. 2 other blue coins are positioned on this platform close to the rocket nozzle. What I did was bring the other spring over and used it to get across the first gap. I used the second to leap onto the upper platform, which was tricky to do without falling off. At this point, I thought proceeding to the top wouldn't be possible. You almost get enough height from the triple jump, however there's nothing to wall jump off of. As a matter of fact, after I finished this voiceover, I concluded it was impossible. Turns out, there is a way to get on top of this platform. We must perform a glitched wall jump. If we press the first-person camera button a few frames before our wall kick, Mario will jump in the opposite direction. Due to the complexity of this trick, and how failing it meant rescaling the whole cliff, I did use the hover nozzle to save myself whenever I messed up. To my surprise, if Mario does a triple jump and a glitched wall kick, it's just enough to reach this platform. All you now have to do is spin jump dive onto the final platform, which lets you grab one of the blue coins. But what about the second one? If we do the camera trick to make the first jump without the spring, Mario can take the spring with him as he ascends the platforms. Theoretically, we could do another glitched wall kick, bringing both Mario and the spring to the top, but I concluded that this coin would have been impossible to obtain. Even if we did bring the spring up with us, Mario doesn't get nearly enough air to make the jump. Unfortunately, this means that yet another blue coin is unobtainable. What really sucks about this is how Noki Bay is the only world that doesn't have Yoshi. If it did, we could have easily gotten this one. Fun fact, Noki Bay does have a Yoshi track for this, but since he's not in the world, it never plays. At the very least, we'll pick up this secret shine by spraying the bird.
2 of Delfino Plaza's blue coins are simply impossible to get. One of them is underwater and requires the turbo nozzle. Attempts to clip into this area were unsuccessful, and even trying to approach it from below with Yoshi and the out of bounds glitch didn't work. Partway through, Mario just gets stuck whenever he tries to jump. More bad news when we get to the airship. A blue coin is within this building, which also requires the turbo nozzle. And there's no fruit here, so any chances to clip into the building have been shot down. Even worse, one of the red coins is also inside here, making that our third impossible shine. Even if we were to find a way to clip in, we would also need a way out to finish the mission. At the very least, we can quickly grab all the coins here and do Delfino Plaza's 100 coin shine. Onto Corona Mountain. I know what you're all thinking, why bother coming here if the level can't be beaten? Unfortunately, we still have to make it to the end to grab the blue coins, and that means making it past the first part without the hover nozzle. And let me tell you, that's no easy task. You're forced to make huge jumps from tiny little platforms onto other tiny little platforms, and if you're not fast enough, you just die. The boat section is child's play compared to this. But after some perseverance, and yes, some rage, we get to the end and collect the rest of the blue coins. It's time to go and collect the final blue coin shine. We're almost done, now it's time to tie up some loose ends. Close to the cannon are some trees which lead to a warp pipe. Mario himself can't get there, but if we grab Yoshi and perfectly time some jumps, it takes us to another red coin mission. It's pretty simple compared to some previous ones. Now to return to Bianco 2's secret level. There are 3 red coins on rotating platforms which can be reached by jumping from the cubes. The hard part isn't getting to them, it's coming back. Your timing needs to be perfect or you'll miss the jump. Sometimes Mario even clips through the cubes for no good reason. Or you can be a complete idiot and mess up the last couple jumps to the shine sprite, having to redo the whole thing.
Hey, I heard that!
The hardest part of Dirty Lake's red coins come from the platforms at the end. You need to plan out what coins you can go for so you're not wasting time. And even after the shine appears, you need to watch out for the rotating panels. Gelato Beach's secret level is extremely easy, so we'll skip talking about that. After doing the casino skip again, we return to collect the red coin shine. The hardest part of this has to be the final coin. Failure to collect this one resulted in many deaths.
If you all thought the pachinko machine was already frustrating with its terrible physics, then don't worry, because doing it floodless is even worse. Eventually, I realized that using certain jumps helped with controlling how far I traveled, and I was able to grab all the red coins and shine sprite. But there were still a lot of deaths, and the second run of the shell's secret was surprisingly painless. Most of the red coins are in easy to reach spots, and you're given more than enough time to complete it. Noki Bay's 100 coins was also rather simple, but the same can't be said for Serena Beach. There's 14 coins outside the hotel you pretty much need before entering the building, and even then there's just enough to complete it. This leads us to the final shine of the challenge, at Pianta Village. All of them are pretty easy, except for this one on a platform that's way off in the distance. If you have the right angle, you can talk to the Pianta and get thrown over there. It was definitely a trial and error moment, but it wasn't long before we picked up the last shine. And there we have it. That's the max percentage you can get when playing Super Mario Sunshine without the hover, turbo, and rocket nozzles. Let's tally up the results. Out of 120 shines, 116 were obtainable. The 4 which were impossible to grab consisted of the following: the secret level with the turbo nozzle, red coins on the airstrip, final boss, and 1 of the 24 blue coin shines. A total of 233 blue coins were obtainable in the game, with 7 being impossible. 1 at Delfino Plaza, 1 in the airstrip, and 5 at Noki Bay. Considering some of the hurdles we had to go through to get these shines, such as ascending the huge tree in Pianta Village and the red coinfish, I'd say that was a huge success. I surprised myself with just how many shine sprites we were able to get while limiting ourselves. The MVP of this challenge was without a doubt Yoshi. If not for his jumping height and infinite flutter, many of these would have been impossible. I can't help but feel unfulfilled though. I mean, we almost got all the shines in the game. It does frustrate me that we couldn't 100% this. Anyways, this has turned out to be a huge video. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you liked it. It's gotten me in the mood to do some more Sunshine Challenge videos, and I already have a couple ideas. A special thanks to MaskNintendoBandit for joining me on this one, and there is a video on his channel where we look at the cut content from 3D All-Stars, so feel free to check that out. I've been NintendoBlackCrisis, and I will see you all in the next video.